Kia ora and welcome back to the Huddy Hui episode 42 this week. And we've had our first round of club rugby and the Swindale Shield and some interesting results in the weekend. I got to see a very talented Johnsonville side that has some very powerful backs indeed, and really looking forward to see how they go against their crosstown rivals this weekend, which will be Norths. So, Adam, you're still up away from Wellington. No doubt you caught up on some of the results of the weekend.
Parramatta Plimerton, top of the table after the first round, Brad. That's a massive result. 20 consecutive defeats, 934 points conceded. But on Saturday, they trounced Avalon 43-18 to reside at number one. And tonight's guest was also involved in a fascinating result. Old Boys University, the reigning Swindale Shield champions, went down 19-10 to Petone, Brad.
Yeah, certainly did, Adam. And our guest tonight is Jonah Apineru, who plays for the Petone Rugby Club. He's a product of the great school known as St. Patrick's College Silverstream. And he is our guest tonight on the Huddy Hui. Jonah, many thanks for coming on the show tonight. Let's look back at last weekend against OBU. OBU, over the years, a very powerful club. You've had many great battles against them, but you got the W against them in the weekend. What was the key to your victory over OBU last weekend?
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on. Very much appreciated. OBU. Yeah, first round up, obviously, and new team altogether, and we're just having a feel around. And Pipes, our coach, was pretty much said to us to go out there and express ourselves, and we just went out there and played footy pretty much, and just whatever we came up with, and we were feeling pretty confident going into it. And we got the result. OBU's got a couple of new faces in there, 9 debutants I've heard, so it was it's going to be a new interesting season for them, and good luck to them. But yeah, no, good first round hit out for us.
And of course, Jonah, you've had a positional change in the off season. You've previously been a loose forward, which you've played for in the Wellington Lions, but this year you've made the transition to prop. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about it for a while now, over the last year or so, or probably even back further, really, with the amount of people who joke about me that I'd make a good prop or front rower. And it was just building up over the last year, and I was really starting to think about it, and just the way I play the game and the way my game goes, I just felt like that's where my skills could potentially be better used. And yeah, how's it been going? It's going pretty good, actually. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of people around me to support me, obviously Petone, and then guys like Pete Cowan and Eugene Smith, and forwards coach Fridge as well. So I'm just really lucky to have a lot of people around me supporting me.
You were picked for the New Zealand secondary schools as a loose forward, and now you're a prop. How did the high performance crowd respond when you wanted to change?
Oh, all round, everyone's just pretty happy. They see the vision that I have for myself, and everyone's just pretty happy to get on board. There were a few people, I remember telling Pipes, our Petone head coach, that I was switching there, and he was like, "Well, what are you doing?" But now that we've gone through pre-season and I've done the training, and I'm slowly but surely working my way in. It's very tough, but the vision's still there, and everyone seems to be happy with it, and I'm pretty happy with my decision.
What's the toughest thing about playing tight head prop?
Oh God, that's pretty easy. It's the scrummaging. It's I've been saying it for a while now to whoever I've spoken to about it. It's that it's just tough, and yeah, to all the crap I've ever said about a front rower over the last, however long I've been playing rugby, I definitely take it back. Like, that stuff it is tough to scrum and then to get around the field and do all that sort of stuff. It's just tough.
Have you changed your training given that you're a tight head prop now?
Not really. I think I've been moving to be a bit more strength focused, but overall I still want to play the same way, and I still want to be like sort of like a loose forward on the field, but just in a prop position. So really, I'm just trying to nail the scrumming. But yeah, more just strength stuff, but it's just all the technical stuff, Adam. That's the big stuff, the scrummaging, which is like still even now it feels way over my head, but slowly chipping away off it. And like I said, I have a good support cast around me.
The technical stuff is complicated, and this is an even more complicated question. The Hurricanes retreating in the scrums, it's awful to watch. What would you tell those guys if you had a word to them?
See, I would have probably no idea. I'm still learning myself. See, it's like you say, you can look at a scrum and it's going backwards, and you just look and you're like, oh, something's not right here. But I tell you what, there's one thing pointing out that there's something wrong, and then another thing trying to actually like do it yourself. So like quite a few times when I've been learning, I sort of know what the picture looks like, but actually, like getting into that shape and all that sort of stuff's like much harder. So yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. Like I still don't quite have enough experience yet there to comment on a Hurricane scrum.
You've got two brothers who were scrummagers in their time in Premier Rugby. What have they taught you about prop play?
Oh, Nev was too all over the place, whether he wanted to play lock, Lucy, or prop. So he didn't really get to master. He was a jack of all trades, never mastered any of them really. Just good ball carrier and whatnot. Unfortunately, Anuru's been overseas in Japan, so I haven't really had much to do with him. But when he gets back here, eventually, I very much look forward to working with him and having someone like him around to help me out as a hooker with the tight head and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Tell us about how the Petone forwards are adjusting to the new variations that New Zealand Rugby has pretty much dumped on club rugby this year, with the 1.5 metre push. What's the feelings around there of the forwards on that ruling?
To be honest, we haven't really. Well, we've only had 2 games with those rules, so we haven't really experienced it enough to really comment to it, to be honest. I mean, I think the reset scrummaging is probably maybe a good thing for me, because I'm just getting absolutely hammered and not used to it at all. So if the scrum goes down, like I might I sort of get a way out of starting to think about the next scrum and having that one off. But yeah, no, like I said, we haven't had enough of a sample size to really judge it.
Would you have made the change if they hadn't reduced the push?
What's that?
Would you have made the change if they didn't change those rules?
Oh, yes, I would have still made the change.
And so tell us about your time at St. Pat Silverstream. That was a very successful period in your life. You were a loose forward in a championship-winning first 15.
No, it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Stream, and the rugby there was also great as well. There's heaps of stuff to love about that school.
Oh, so of course at that time, Apineru, you were Iona, I just had a mind blank there. You're also a head boy. Tell us about what the importance of leadership is, particularly being a head boy of a school, but carrying that over into rugby.
When I think of like leadership for myself on a rugby field, I more try to lead by example and then slowly build my voice from there. It probably is one of my work-ons really to talk more, and usually I'm happy for guys like in our Petone team, like guys like Khan Green to do most of the talking, because he likes talking. So if people like talking, I usually just let them talk, and then when I see that something needs to be done, I'll stand up and talk about it myself. But no, I usually just lead through action and then build from there, really.
Now, Khan Green is loud enough already. What about that haircut? That is atrocious. Why would you want a supply ball for that?
Draco Malfoy, eh? Oh, no comment.
Petone last season started positively, and then unfortunately, injuries seem to really affect the campaign. What is the expectation for this year? Petone, Fable Club, haven't won the Jubilee Cup for 15 years, or 17 actually.
We definitely, obviously, well, everyone wants to win the Jubilee, and that's just pretty plain and simple. And we on paper feel like we have the talent to get there, and it's just what we do with our time now to pretty much advance ourselves to get there and work on that goal. And that's the goal for pretty much every team, really, isn't it? So, yeah, we will we want to, really, and how far we push ourselves. Yeah.
And of course, after your successful time, first 15 at St. Pat Silverstream, made New Zealand's secondary schoolboys team in your test series against Australia. Tell us the experience of being in that setup, where many players previously had gone on to Super Rugby and All Black honours.
Oh, that was pretty cool. That's thinking quite a while away back, even though it doesn't feel like it was that long ago. No, that was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed that Aussie trip, and it was fun playing with those group of guys and seeing a lot of them now playing for Super Rugby teams. Some of them even in the ABs. And now for me, I just need to. When I look at that, I'm just like, well, I need to get there as well with those guys. So that's what I'm striving to do. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed that over in Aussie.
Hasn't been an easy pathway for you, though. I understand you've had a lot of injuries. Take us through some of your injury challenges.
Yeah, look, most of my injuries have just been concussions, and I've just had bad luck with the amount of concussions I've had, and especially during 2019, I had a pretty bad run with concussions. I had quite a few within a small time frame, and then just when things seemed to be getting better, I'd have another head knock. So that was a pretty tough start to my rugby career outside of school, and only now am I starting to round into form where I've had good luck, really, and haven't really had any head knocks. So hopefully.
Does it frighten you, the head knocks? Look at Cole Heyman, what a terrible condition he's in after a long, successful career.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with a lot of the research and stuff that comes out about concussions now, like they're definitely like a massive concern. And yeah, I hope I never get to the stage where I have to think about hanging up the boots or, my own well-being, essentially. So hopefully I stay clear of that. And yeah, then.
As someone who has had head knocks, what do you think you can do better to perhaps avoid it from happening again?
Well, the basic stuff is just like technique and all that sort of stuff. So like trying to get your head and stuff out of crappy places, to be honest. But a lot of it is really just luck, and you really just get like, yeah, you can just get really unlucky. Like I remember once I made a tackle and I literally just hit my head on the ground. Like those are like stuff you can't control. And there's just a lot of stuff in rugby that are just uncontrollable. So head knocks are the same, and all you can do is, one, tick off all your technique and to protect yourself, but then two, you just need to hope to have some good luck, really.
Now, I've had a text message from a member of the audience tonight. We do have audience members, aside from my mother. And the question is, how much can you squat? What are your 0 to 40 metre sprint times and your Bronco score?
Jeez, to be honest, I haven't done a max squat in a while, so I wouldn't be able to give it an accurate number. Well, lately, but I think maybe like 190 was like my max or something like that. That was a while ago. Haven't had a go now. I'd imagine it would be pretty bad with my patellar tendonitis. But yeah, and what was the other questions? My dashes, I wouldn't know those numbers at all, to be honest.
So this weekend you have the challenge of your old club, the Upper Hutt Rams, at the Petone Ret. First home game for Petone this Saturday. Tell us about the challenges of going up against the Rams and what you expect from them.
I look forward to it. I've got a lot of mates in that team, and it's always fun playing against those guys. It's a good banter, good challenge, and I'm always up for it. I really do love playing against those guys. The thing about Upper Hutt is just that they never die. They're just a bunch of battlers who go out there, have fun, and they just go out there and play hard no matter what the result is. So really it's just trying to put them away and try to stomp them out. But like I said, they're just hard to put away, and they'll always keep fighting through the whole game. So I'd imagine, like most games that I've seen I've played in, they're just a bunch of dogs. So I imagine it will be a bit of a dog fight.
Gee, they're going to put that on the wall of their dressing room before Saturday. Tell me what keeps you interested off the field. I understand you study at varsity and have a number of things going on.
What was that? Sorry, Adam?
What keeps you interested away from the game of rugby?
So what is it? Just things I do outside of rugby?
Correct.
I quite enjoy a bit of basketball, and then watching Netflix and all that sort of stuff, and just different things that interest me, really. But during the rugby season, you just got so much on, you don't really have much else to do. So, yeah, good weekend out or whatever. That stuff always helps. But no, just basketball, lots of basketball. I watch heaps of NBA. Thoroughly enjoy that, and then like video games and stuff like that. It's usually what I do on my own time, and then watching YouTube and whatnot. Pretty much the basic 20-year-old guys thing.
Well, Yoda, it's been fantastic having you on tonight's Huddy Hui. All the best against Upper Hutt and the rest of the season. Take care and good luck.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Oh, Adam, Jonah Apineru made the transition to prop. A talented footballer with a great career ahead of him.
Absolutely. He's a very talented young guy, Iona. He's played lock and flanker in the recent past, but prop is where he's going to reside. And he's got broad shoulders and good athleticism, and hopefully he can master some of the technical aspects of his position and become a formidable figure in the game. Unfortunately, the Hurricanes really struggling in that department at the moment, and Wellington, the Lions, not so much better. I tell you, on the subject of scrummaging, I watched the Crusaders Highlanders game on Friday night, and Iona Apineru went to the National Under-19 tournament in 2019, where Fletcher Newell, now the Crusaders tight head, was the player of the tournament, and he was in rampant form in that game in Christchurch, scored a try and absolutely bamboozled Daniel Leonard-Brown. He's an experienced campaigner now. Leonard-Brown, 93 Super Rugby matches, looked phased, bemused and confused by Fletcher Newell, a young rising star in New Zealand rugby, I reckon.
I agree, Adam. The Hurricanes scrum against the Chiefs had its moments in the second half, and the Lions not much better, but we do tend to see a bit of a trend happening with a lack of strength from props at the moment. Remember that French test at the end of last year? Yes,
that was grim, although that French team would be one of the heaviest international rugby teams ever assembled. They were 931 kilos in combined pack weight for that international, and they had 4 19-stoners on the bench. So France shaping as a very formidable country for next year's World Cup. They won 15 of their last 16 at the Stade de France, and Dupont, that magnificent halfback, really is like conducting an orchestra at the moment with that French team. And another observation from that Crusaders Highlanders game, if I may indulge, Aaron Smith playing with a real lack of charisma at the moment, typically so sharp. When's the last time he ran the ball? And when he was replaced by Folau Fakatava, the difference in the Highlanders was palpable. They went much better with Fakatava.
Yeah, I noticed that the week before when they played the Blues, Fakatava came on and was a lot more powerful. add more direction. And they actually put a bit of fight on, but the Blues actually ran away with it in the end down there in Dunedin. So, Adam, you're still away up north, but we had the first round of club rugby. I called Johnsonville against Wellington. Wellington, they got a team together, been hit by COVID, but Johnsonville looked quite good this year, Adam. They've got some very enlightening backs. They've got Mark Sutton, the first five, but they've got the two Itama brothers in there, and their backline is electric. Really impressed with them. It took them a while to get going. And at one stage, they were 28-3 ahead until Wellington made a small comeback to win 28-18. For Johnsonville to win 28-18.
Good result for Johnsonville. But remember, they won their first two games last season and then faded away. So they'll be mindful of that. But Johnsonville, wonderful place to go. We went there a couple of years ago for the Axeman Hawks game, and the Hawks lost on that occasion by 13-10. But my goodness, we got a reception out there. There were quart bottles flying everywhere. There was euphoria at the fact that Johnsonville almost broke what was a 36-game winning streak at that time. But Isaac Bracewell, I see he's over at Ori's now, kicked a last play penalty from memory, and Wellington prevailed. So good, keen rivalry, Wellington and Johnsonville.
Exactly, Adam. And of course, you mentioned Oriental Rongotai and Isaac Bracewell. Of course, Oriental Rongotai made the short dash across from the polo ground to Evans Bay Park this weekend, where they take on Maris St. Pat's. That's Te Puka o Te Ika's game this Saturday. Earlier kickoffs this weekend, 2:00, because the Super Rugby game at the stadium at 4:35. Bad scheduling, but we don't make those calls. Marist having a very good win in the last minute against Tawa for a Ken Capelli try. Oriental Rongotai pretty dominant against Upper Hutt, but they allowed Upper Hutt to come back and narrow the score to about 8.
It'd be a terrific game, Oriental Rongotai and Maris St. Pat's. Maris St. Pat's very gritty in their win against Tawa, trailed for most of the contest, and then Ken Capelli came on at the end, sniped down the short side and managed to bust through and avenge MSP's heavy defeat in last year's Jubilee Cup final. Tawa had a very strong pack in that game, young, raw, powerful and athletic. Maris St. Pat's holding their own and earning a tough victory. Their game against Ori's last year was somewhat spiteful, but very close. Let's hope the spite doesn't exist, but the closeness remains. Ori's very good backline. Stephen Va'a is there. Isaac Bracewell is there. And Tunga Maitiva, though, is now playing for Maris St. Pat's. Tunga played over 100 games for the Magpies, but he's crossed the road to Evans Bay Park, so he'll be in for an interesting reception. But that should be a wonderful game, Ori's and Maris St. Pat's.
Well, it'll either be the Scarlets winning or the Magpies winning or getting run over. Either one of those, Adam. So, of course, also Parramatta Pliverton, well, they probably think to knock out the season because they're top of the table. And, of course, you'd probably fancy their chances against Tawa this weekend, wouldn't you?
Parramatta Pliverton, the Farrers of round one, they were very good in their performance against Avalon. They're actually down at half-time as well. They scored nearly 30 unanswered points in the second half. So that's an extraordinary effort by the Hammerheads. But Tawa at Lyndhurst Park, they'll be keen to get off the mark. And I suspect they might have too much forward power for Parramatta Pliverton.
Well, exactly, Adam. And that's going to be an exciting weekend on Huddy Sports this weekend. We're going to bring you junior futsal finals tomorrow night and the senior futsal finals on Friday. No water polo this week, but we will be on Te Puka o Te Ika this weekend. Maris St. Pat's and Ori's, and round 2 action looking extremely exciting. Well, that is the Huddy Hui for tonight. Many thanks to Adam Julian, as always, and to our guest, Iona Apineru. Take care of one another. Ciao for now.